Welcome to Talk of the Town. Usually we have Talk of the Town. Tonight we have Dance of the Town. We happen to be blessed in the Bay Area with having a multitude of cultures and a bringing together of those cultures in a way that is unique to this particular area. So tonight we have a particular dance troupe, and if you happen to be someone who lives here and also perhaps someone who is just visiting here, and you're wondering what is unique about the Bay Area, what is something that you can do, something you can see in the Bay Area, perhaps you will have an opportunity to see Masha Archer and her dance troupe. So I want you to welcome to Talk of the Town. Welcome. And that was beautiful. And I guess that we usually think about dancing, we sort of fit dancing into categories. What you seem to be doing is something that is not a particular category. It seems to come from older cultures. Maybe you want to explain a little bit about what you're doing.
I consider us modern folk dancers. That's what we do. We take material from folk dance history and use it, and the material comes from the East mostly. That's what we're doing. From the Near East, Middle East, from Asia, and from Eastern Europe. And that's where the music comes from also, that we use in our tapes. I'd like to introduce my soloists, if I might. This is Rebecca Rembold and Kaki McKinley. And to be coming out soon will be Irene Higgins and Rhonda Winger and Grunya McElroy.
And this is a troupe of dancers, and they perform.
This is part of a troupe. Many of the people in our troupe travel. There's always at least 3 or 4 people that are off traveling, teaching, and studying in the East. As I myself did, I was invited by the Chinese government to go and perform and teach this dance in Canton and also in the Hong Kong Arts Center.
There seems to be, it seems to be an old kind of dancing.
It's the oldest.
The oldest?
It's the oldest and the newest and the freshest. And its roots are the longest and the deepest. It's absolutely the beginning of the longing to dance that people have. And it's stayed with us because essentially it's the urge to dance is expressed this way. It's studied, it's a technique, but it looks somehow dreamlike and natural. It's also very geometric, which is a very, very natural instinct for people want to move that way, in a way of solving geometric questions, as you will see when they perform together, when the soloists dance together.
The dance that you were doing at the beginning, where is it from?
The music that I used was Ukrainian. I'm Ukrainian. And that is a Jew's harp and a Hutzul song from the mountains, the Carpathian Mountains, which divide Ukraine from the rest of Europe. That's the barrier, and it's an area that has particularly soaring and beautiful music, very, very inspiring for me, and I think for the dancers as well. I've filled them with it.
Beautiful. Is there a particular era that this dancing was done? Is it still done?
In some of the countries in the Near East, it's still done. It's done in a way that we no longer do it. It's done in cabaret style. We don't dance in cabarets. We never perform in nightclubs. We've only performed as a theater group in cultural events in this area and in other places. For instance, I've taught and taken some of my dancers with me when I taught workshops in Canada and in Hong Kong.
When did you start the troupe?
This troupe is 14 years old.
Huh?
And many of the people that are in it have been with it for 10, 12 years, 6 years. Rebecca's been with us for 9 years, for instance.
Do the women in the group have to study a particular kind of dance in order to have the movements that are needed, or you just study?
They study with me. Most belly dance teachers, for instance, feel that if a dancer has studied any other kind of dance form, it usually interferes with what she wants to teach them. But I use it. I feel that it's an asset, everything they know. I use it and change it and have them unlearn it, but I don't consider that once they've studied something else, they can't do this. That's fine if they have a training of another kind.
Is this a dancing that is indigenous to women? Have men ever performed dances?
Men do, and sometimes I have some of the men perform with me. I've had male dancers throughout the years. There's no one available at the moment. They're all gone. But yes. Now, in our troupe here, the men perform as men. I have seen men perform in Morocco, for instance, where they definitely do this dance in the style of men imitating women. But that isn't what we do. I prefer when I have men dancers that they dance as men, which means simply doing the same thing but as themselves, and it looks manly on them because they're approaching it that way rather than as an imitation of what a woman does.
You've danced in many locations around the city also when there are art fairs at the Palace of Fine Arts. I understand you have...
I'm so glad you mentioned the Palace of Fine Arts because I consider that our place. I want to show you a photograph taken there. From all my travels and everything, I still love the Palace of Fine Arts the very most. Are we holding this correctly?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I just do want to show you briefly a couple of other photographs. Now this is my Canadian group, and this is my Chinese and Filipino and British dancers that studied with me in Hong Kong. And then this is this troupe.
Okay, let's hold this for a little bit here so we
And
can
here,
get a good picture of it.
These photographs are all taken at the art festival. Now, we are the only group that has been invited to dance at this festival year after year. For the 10th year will be this fall that we've danced at this, and we're the only group that keeps coming back, that keeps being invited to perform at this event. And this is one of those years. You can see many of the people here that some are still with us, some aren't. They never are actually ever completely out.
There's a lot of costuming that's involved. There's what I have associated traditionally with belly dance music, but the costuming seems to be, I don't know, somehow it seems Turkish to me.
More than any other dance, this dance demands a genius for costuming and style. The glamour and the ingenuity and the necessity to make your costuming speak so articulately for you, for the movements of this dance. It's much more demanding and much more an essential part of the dance than in any other dance form. And our costuming always comes out differently with each performance. It's not a matter of putting on your costume. Oh, we're going to dance again. My costume's over there. It's never over there. It's everywhere among all the things that you have. And each time it has to be constructed anew with a new flair and a new style, a new way of looking at the direction of that particular performance, so that it takes an incredible amount of attention and wit and rapaciousness to acquire, of course.
I noticed that all the women are wearing headdresses. Are there rules to what you're doing?
Headdresses? Well, I think headdresses are terrifically elegant and great. And also, since some of the things that we do involve balancing, headdresses are very nice. Sculpturally speaking, a beautiful vase, an ancient vase on a head with a headdress makes a stunning visual image, and that's what you want.
Right. Somewhere along the line, I think we're going to take a break, and I believe after the break, most of this show is devoted to dancing. So maybe before we go into the break, you might want to explain a little bit. You said the dances were from many different countries. Maybe you would like to explain
A little bit.
A little bit about the difference so that when the audience looks and sees the dancing, they maybe can tell the differences of the countries of the dancing.
I want to preface everything I'm going to say with the idea that I still consider us modern dancers. And we use elements from Turkish styles. For instance, we use Turkish shimmies, and we use arms and head movements from the Far East, altogether much further than the Middle East. Then we have walks. We use walks. Now, the walks come from Egypt. We use one particularly favored walk from Egypt. Everything is choreographed, though, and put together in a very graphic style, which is definitely modern and which speaks of our own time and our own sense of design. That has to do with now. We're Americans. We're not imitation Easterners.
You know, I wonder why, for dancing that is so beautiful, graceful, and also so free, and yet the women in many of these countries are a lot veiled, and traditionally have been veiled or covered up, and yet they're allowed to dance and develop the dancing.
The only channel, the only freedom to truly express your own intellectual ideas, which in dancing, that's what you're doing. You're designing something to see, like a picture in motion with music. And that is about the only freedom that is to be had in many of those cultures. And even that, of course, is held under strict control, contained. The whole form is owned.
Thank you, Masha. We're going to take a short break, and right after the break, we're going to see mostly dancing. So that'll be enough of talking. See you in a minute. I said I wouldn't do much talking, and for the rest of the show, I would like you to enjoy and watch the dancing.
Thank you.